I'm going to do a series of probably shorter videos which draw attention to specific problems. There'll be one put up on brand YouTube several times a week. This video is about the economy, which is a long word which politicians use when they're talking about the stuff which you and I think of as money. It all begins, of course, with the global reset as advertised by Prince Charles, which doesn't include any provision for private property, unless you're already a billionaire or a member of the British royal family. If you don't believe me, check out the Agenda 21 promotional guff as published by the United Nations and take a look at Pope Francis's words on private property too. So I hear you asking, how are the Sturmbannführers and Obersturmbannführers planning to take away our private property? Silly question, I'm afraid, because they've already started their 5-point plan to bankrupt us all. They don't want us to own anything because people who own a home or a pension or who have a few quid in the bank have an unacceptable tendency to assume that they're free citizens. They want to remove every last vestige of our independence, and they will be ruthless. First, of course, crashing the global economy has buggered up any investments that you might have. And don't think you're okay if you don't have any investments, because unless you work for the state and have a state pension, your retirement fund will have been severely damaged. Wrecking the economy was deliberate. It's part of the Agenda 21 plan. Billionaires such as Gates and Musk did amazingly well during 2020. Their wealth grew massively, but I bet yours didn't. But then, Bezos controls much of the internet, the Gates Foundation has shares in a variety of drug companies, and Musk has the electric car industry tied up. The rest probably just shorted the markets to get rich. Remember the Rothschilds at the end of the Battle of Waterloo. They tricked all the other traders into thinking that Napoleon had won and then cleaned up and made a massive fortune. Second, they have reduced interest rates to a level never seen before. If you have £1 million sitting in your government savings account, the annual interest will just about buy you a tank full of petrol. And just to add to the excitement, the central banks are all now talking about negative interest rates. Put a few quid into a deposit account and you'll have to pay interest to them. Third, the crashing economy will destroy millions of jobs. The United Nations said in 2020 that 50% of all jobs are going to disappear. And we can trust them because it's their game, their ball and their packet of sandwiches. Those without jobs will have to rely on government handouts, renamed the Universal Basic Income. Fourth, if you own your own home or think you do, or own part of it, then you're in trouble. Interest rates are going to remain the lowest in history for a while to make sure that those with savings see their savings slowly disappear. And then interest rates will go up. Not a bit, but a lot. I'll explain why in a moment. And when interest rates are up to 8, 9 or 10% or even higher, imagine what mortgage repayments will reach. They'll be stratospheric, and most people won't be able to afford to keep their homes. That will be the end of private home ownership and another step towards a successful Agenda 21. Fifth, why are interest rates going to soar? Well, because when interest rates rocket, so too will inflation. And massive inflation is the best way for governments to get rid of their massive, otherwise unpayable debts. And high rates of inflation also destroy any savings that people have hung on to. Oh, and there's a sixth trick they've got up their sleeves. Taxes. Governments everywhere have been throwing money around with great joy. 10 billion here, 100 billion there. They'll need to replenish the coffers and pay off the debts, and so taxes are going to rise. And it won't be the rich who'll pay them. It'll be the middle classes and the working classes. They'll invent new taxes you've never dreamt of, and the main aim will not be to raise money, but to impoverish everyone. They don't want us to own anything. It's the plan. Check it out. I'm not making this up. And when we're all impoverished, they will generously pay us a universal basic income, and then we'll be entirely dependent on Bill Gates, Sir Klaus Schwab, yes, the Queen gave him a knighthood, for our daily bread. If we misbehave or criticise our masters, then our payment won't come through and our digital bank accounts will remain empty. If we were to lose this war, which we won't because we can't, the dissidents would all be living in mud huts and eating grass and slug pie, while the billionaires get forever richer. The people controlling the system are not inept or incompetent. They are deceitful, devious, and far more wicked than anything most of us have ever come across. When I was a GP, I worked as a police surgeon for some years. I met, examined, and interviewed a number of murderers. I never met any as evil as the deceitful and devious politicians, scientists, and doctors now determined to destroy everything we value for power and for money. Make no mistake about it, the end of civilization is coming towards us at the speed of light. Please share this video with everyone you know. Send copies to MPs, local politicians and the press. Put the video on Twitter and Facebook. There are still people who think things will get better in 2021. They won't. Next year is going to be far, far worse than this year, and it's going to be ever harder to break the hold the evil people have on our lives. If you're awake and you care about life, your family, your friends and your community, then you have to do everything you can to stop these people and halt the Agenda 21 plan. Thank you for watching An Old Man in a Chair, and thank you for all your support, encouragement and kind comments, which are much appreciated. Although it may feel like it at times, please remember that you're not alone, and more people are waking up. I firmly believe that we will win this war if we fight hard with passion and determination. Distrust the government, avoid mass media and fight the lies. And thank you for watching An Old Man in a Chair.